this contest set for one fall is for the WWE Championship.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Welcome to Around the Turnbuckle. I'm the Big Alboski. This guy right there is Professor Keith. As always, and joining us live from New York is the one, the only, it's Atillio Aprile. What's up?
Yo, how you guys doing? I hope that, it's been a year, I believe, now since we last talked.
Yeah,
So
just
you
about.
guys have been well. A lot going on. Lots happened. I'm excited to talk with you guys again and, see who pops up in the chats and get to answering questions, telling stories, and having a good time.
That's what we're all about, man. And a lot's happened with you. We're going to get into that. And a lot's happened with me and the professor. We're now doing, since we talked to you last, we got that new intro there. We got that.
Intro was cool. I liked it a lot.
We've kind of built a little bit of a community here in Pennsylvania. We do commentary for a local promotion, and I've been dabbling a little bit in ring announcing as well. So yeah, lots happened to us. So what's been happening with you?
Well, where do you want to start? Because there's been a lot going on.
Thank God we have an hour. Or whatever we need.
I guess, first and foremost, I did have a minor back surgery a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
At least as of this interview I had March 15th on my lower lumbar.
Okay.
And right now things are starting to normalize a bit. I am starting physical therapy in a couple of weeks, and hopefully by April 21st I'll be in good enough condition to get back in the ring.
Was the injury wrestling related?
It was something that's accumulated over time. The X-ray showed a degenerative fracture in the lower back. MRIs showed severe degradation of the disc, sciatic nerve, etc. So we're basically doing some of those temporary fix treatments just to kind of prolong a more severe surgery.
What's the time frame of your return to the ring?
I haven't actually wrestled a match in about 3 months now.
Okay.
So based on what the specialist and I have been talking about, I should be cleared just about by the April 21st Hudson Valley show.
Okay.
April 21st. So that's not even a month away.
So I'm looking forward to getting back in. I needed to be sated with at least doing some in-ring promos at the last couple of shows, address the crowd, help carry on some storylines and so on, and to just kind of in my opinion, if I'm at a show and I can't perform, I feel like I'm cheating the crowd. And I at least want to try and address the things that need to be addressed when I'm at the shows, and stay connected with the crowd and the fans and people who come to see us do what we do.
Right.
Thundercat Greg is here. He's like, Thundercat is here, guys. I hope all is as well with you guys. I hope Atillio gets cleared soon, and I'm hoping for a speedy recovery.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. Your health has to come first, and I'm
Absolutely.
trying to, do better about my own health.
I'm glad to hear that because I mean, it's got to be health first. Wrestling is important. I can't ever say wrestling is not important. I mean, it's been such a major part of my life. It's why Al and I are here. It's why Al and I became friends in the first place, right? Because the wrestling people always find each other, whether it's work, whether it's school, whether it's whatever. You always kind of have that radar for whoever the other wrestling people are.
Yeah, so it's and it's cool. One of the things like I'm looking forward to the most about the show on the 21st is it's going to be in a pretty historic building for wrestling. The building itself used to, Vince McMahon Sr. used to run shows through that building in the early 70s with the old WWF. There's
Cool.
these like high-rise sections in the building, these like VIP box section areas, which is where they filmed all the backstage promos and stuff with Ernie Ladd, Bruno Sammartino, the Sheik, stuff. So like any of those interviews that you saw, like those old black and white videos, it was shot in those upper bleachers and stuff.
That's awesome.
So
really
amazing.
Cool.
Still there.
Like now we and the other Hudson Valley guys, some of my closest friends, some of the new guys who are coming in, get to be a part of that building's like wrestling history.
That's awesome. What town's that in?
Kingston, New York.
Kingston, New York. Drink more water, he says. Yeah. All right, so let's go back a year, right? We talked to you last. You were basically with one promotion. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it ECPW?
Yes.
And are you still with that promotion, or is there other ones that you also work for?
Right now, I'm still primarily just with ECPW. I'm hoping this year to kind of get a couple extra bookings in other places and stuff. Really, the only thing kind of preventing me from just kind of like branching out is the role I take as far as the production aspect with our shows go. I manage all the camera people. I manage all the music. I help with some of the creative in the backstage for skits, etc., stuff like that, story stuff in the Hudson Valley, and then I produce the episodes top to bottom and editing and get them all on YouTube.
So you're getting more involved behind the scenes then.
Well, I've at least with the production, I've been head of production really for about 2.25 something years now.
Oh, really?
I started just helping out with some editing in October of 2020, and it just kind of kept on going until I got more responsibilities, different things, and then that led to my voice and opinion kind of mattering a little bit more with some of the backstage stuff, and helping to kind of change a bit the setup of the TV tapings that we do for the Jersey show. We have the monthly ECPW Adrenaline TV tapings. In Ridgefield Park, New Jersey. So some of my opinions on how to make the presentation of the show on film look better and change up some of the commentary things. And that got me into, helping to run the Hudson Valley shows a little bit when we came back after COVID. And, I was part of booking for a little while throughout all of 2021 and part of 2022, which just kind of helped keep me involved at a point in time before I was medically cleared to come back from my ankle injury at that time.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. I got another comment from Thundercat. He's like, Attilio, anything you need, emotional support, advice, or just need to chat with anyone, you message me, bro.
I appreciate you. Thank you so
Craig's
much.
the best. Craig is the best.
But yeah.
Yeah,
so,
I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. It's all right. But yeah, no. So like, I at least get to, stay involved, whether I can like get in the ring or not, and I can still take part in helping to mentor newer people coming in. And like there's this newer kid. His name is Dan Diaz. Good like newer friend of mine. He's been training for a while now. Really good kid, and he's like taking on quick, and I'm happy that I can kind of like hands-on mentor him in some way and help him out as much as I can.
Yeah, I mean, teaching is so rewarding. And I mean, it's great that you're developing these skills, right? Because we all know, Matt Hardy talks about the bump card. We all know there's going to be a point where you just can't take bumps anymore. But you still want to be part of us. You still want to be able to contribute something. And it's great that you're getting those skills where when the in-ring piece, ends, which hopefully is way down the road, But when that in-ring piece ends, and if you still have that fire, now you have that ability to go, hey, I can turn around and I can do this, or I can do this, or I can do this. Like, you're so multifaceted now over everything you've done over the past year.
And it's like anything to kind of help keep me involved, anything to help the next generation of guys, and with the like back issues and stuff, the days are a lot more limited that I can actually perform in front of crowds. Right now the goal is to make it to March next year, get 7 years in. Right now, that's my goal. But based on what I've been talking about with the doctors, the larger surgery to actually fix the problem is going to happen eventually. And although he says I could wrestle again after it, because of the kind of surgery, it could increase the risk of a re-injury, and then they need to do a spinal fusion in the lower back, and that would really limit me in my every day, not just what I can do athletically or not.
Right.
So and I apologize, guys. I had to change locations to my car because there's a fire literally going on. Well, actually, the fire alarm went off. I don't think there's an actual fire, but there's an apartment building across the street from where I live. And now there's fire trucks surrounding me here. There's ambulances surrounding me here. So and it's loud. I had to duck for cover. So I'm in my car. But anyway, once you have that surgery, man, I have a feeling that you're never going to leave wrestling. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, like, if you can't do this anymore, you're gonna be around it. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Absolutely. Like, I'm still gonna play a big role behind the scenes and production, and you know, like at the very least, I'm still always going to be involved with our Jersey shows to some extent, and still with the Hudson Valley to a greater extent.
You know who he sounds like right now, Al? He sounds like a much younger Mark Mass, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Our buddy Mark.
yeah,
We love Mark. Mark is an institution here in Pennsylvania. And Mark, he had the in-ring career. He did well. He has his school. He goes out to anybody who will, have him and book him, and he just gives his advice. He gives his knowledge. He works guerrilla. He produces shows, and he just gets himself out there because Mark loves this. He's trained Carino. He's
Sounds
trained
like-
Colby Carino. Trained so many guys. And Mark is just, he loves the business and he's never going to quit it. And every time I'm at a show that Mark's at, it is an absolute treat to be able to talk to him, pick his brain, or just say hi and have a laugh with him. And
agreed.
you're on that path, which is a great path.
It definitely sounds like he's someone who I would love to meet.
Oh,
He sounds,
yeah, I'd
sounds,
love
Oh,
to.
you would.
sounds like a really good generous person.
Oh, God, yes. God, yes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I echo exactly what the professor just said, Attilio, and we would say the same about Thundercat Greg, who pops in and offers advice. Those are two guys that you should get to know on Facebook, even if it's just chatting back and forth. After the show, we'll definitely give you guys, hook you guys up with those guys because you guys talking to each other, it'd be really great, beneficial to both of you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've spoken to Greg a handful of times now. Great guy, love him.
Mm-hmm.
Lets me know when there's some stuff going on down south. See if
Sure.
work out a deal because I because like my style and gimmick and the way I like to do old school character based storytelling.
Yeah.
I think that would go really well in the South. I think
I've
that
always
would
said-
be good with that fan base.
I've
Oh,
always
yeah.
said the northern wrestlers should go down south and learn southern style, and the southern wrestlers should come up here in the north and learn the northern style. If you're serious about this, if you're serious about going national and learning how to do it national, yeah, you're going to get signed somewhere and they're going to say, well, here's our style and here's how style do it. But you think about all the biggest names in the business that made it and made that crazy money and were set for life. Those were the guys that went through the territories, that worked north, worked south, worked west, worked east, worked north, south, anywhere that they could get booked. And those are the guys that had it because they were able to come in and go, oh, you want me to do this? Great, I'll do that. But I'm also going to take all these other things I learned and I'm going to sneak it in there and I'm going to use that to enhance whatever you're telling me to do and take it to that next level.
Which is the right way to do it. And at least one thing that I really try to focus on when I'm working on helping to teach new guys or talk to them about certain things and what we and what's taught in the ECPW training school is we put an emphasis on teaching guys how to wrestle on TV, which so basically it's know where the cameras are, know where to go, know where the hard cam is, know how to move the ring in that specific way because TV and on film is what's going to sell you today.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Attilio, do you know a gentleman by the name of Victor?
Yeah, probably my dad. Yep, that's
So he's on here and he's like, Attilio has given me a new respect for the industry and the dedication it takes to please a crowd.
what's cool is and I didn't know this till a couple of years ago. My grandfather, my dad's dad was a huge like old school wrestling fan, loved it. And my dad was telling me a couple of years ago how they used to go to some of those old like arena shows
Yeah.
in the no, in like some of those old like armory shows in
Okay.
the city and stuff, which like I wish that my grandfather was still around so we can kind of see me doing the same same thing.
Right.
I'd love to see his reaction in person, but I'm sure he's watching every time I'm out there.
Thundercat said, absolutely. I did a seminar with Rhino, and he had me put together a 5-minute match with another person in the seminar. And then he told us both that they would enjoy that match up in the northern area. So he's talking about Keith's idea about southern wrestlers coming up here and northern wrestlers coming down there.
Because it is different styles, but it's important to have both in your back pocket. I mean, you got to be adaptable. You got to be able to sense what that crowd wants and tailor it and give it to them.
Yeah, and that's something that we can teach you the traditional methods of pushing and pulling a crowd, but that is all trial and error. That's something that you really learn like out there in the real world, in the ring, doing shows. Like it took me about 2.5, 3 years to kind of get who I am figured out in the business, which is about right for some people, especially if you're coming in face. Like it's really hard to get people to like you.
Yeah.
So it took me almost 3 years to kind of build, like the Atillio Aprile you see now, so. But yeah, that's all practical experience, trial and error. And that's one thing that I try and also kind of teach to some newer guys coming in. I try to explain, like, nothing's gonna happen immediately for you. Like last night I was in a Queens for one of our 5 borough shows, and my friend Dan was there. I got to see him wrestle live for the me watching him live for the first time last night, and he did really well. The guy who he wrestled, his worker name is the Corman. Really nice guy. So he came up to me, because I had spoken to him, briefly, because I was giving Dan a bit of advice before their match, and he came up to me and said he would love to work my guy again, which is a huge compliment to Dan, because here's this guy who has more experience than me, who's like, hey, I would love to work you again, because that was fun and that was tight and that was good. And I'm like, well, don't let it go to his head. But
exactly.
But it's an incredible thing when like really when you can just help people and you get to watch them grow. Actually, I'm planning at some point this year working Dan in a match, because I want to see firsthand, and that's people who I really work with like that, I want to step in the ring with, I want to work with, so I can see firsthand how they are under, and like, not saying I'm any great guru or nothing, but when someone who's helping to teach you is the person standing across from you, you got to see what that pressure does and how they handle that.
Right.
Absolutely. So for your fans, for your friends, and for your family who may see this later, or that might not necessarily be watching right now, let's talk a little bit about current events as far as ECPW goes. What do you got coming up? What's going on in ECPW for those who haven't, who live down here, who haven't seen any of that, but also for your fans who might be watching this, what's going on in current events in ECPW?
As far as current events goes, we have, looks like almost every weekend, booked up different places. I know immediately what I'm involved in is the show on the 21st. That one we're gonna have Alpha Junior and Nunzio as like
Cool.
two of our featured guys, and both of them great guys. Love them. Like if you have a chance to talk with any of like that era of like guys, like just the wisdom and the stories, and and for any newer workers out there, don't be afraid to ask some of like those guys if they can watch your match and give you their opinions on it. Like worst they can do is say no, but most guys want to see new guys thrive. So
Right.
like don't be afraid to say, hey, can you please watch my match and tell me what you think, and tell me what from your opinion I can do better.
I ring announced a local SWO show here in Pennsylvania a couple of months ago featuring Nunzio on the card, and I had the opportunity to have a nice sit-down conversation with him one-on-one. Great guy. Awesome guy.
I'm jealous of you for that.
Full of advice. Gave me advice as a ring announcer. He was also talking. I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but he was also having conversations with some of the wrestling talent there. So yeah, if he gets booked on the show, that's an added bonus. That before the show, he'll be there for the meeting and all that stuff, and he'll be there to talk to the guys, and whether he's working with the guys or whether he's not working with the guys, doesn't matter. Just they're colleagues to him, they're brothers. He wants to, like you said, he wants to see them succeed. So that's pretty cool that you're going to get to talk to him and work with him on the 21st. And Alpha Junior, I've heard nothing but good stuff about Alpha Junior. I've never met him, but I've heard nothing but good things about him too.
I've known him a good few years now. A really nice guy, really easy to talk to. Always had great advice when I would ask him questions. He's just a very warm, like friendly guy.
Right. Thundercat's got another comment here. What I don't like is what happens a lot down here in the South is they try to train someone, and in 2 weeks they are in the card for the show. I stay away from those promotions. You agree with that?
We have worse shit that happens up north, with the Dennis Corluzzo thing or some other promoters where it's like, oh, you sold 10 tickets and you were trained by so-and-so. I'm not going to check if any of that's true. Just you sold 10 tickets, go work. Come on.
Right.
Yeah, like you want to make sure, like, the guys that you're training are trained well for their safety, and the guys who they're working with safety. Like quick little story. I was working a show in PA. It was like late 2019, maybe early 2020, before the world ended for 3 years.
Right. Yeah.
So I was working a match, and it was this big round the world 4-way tag team match, and this major overbooked show where the promoters put like 40 people on this card, and every match had 5+ people in it.
Jesus.
Right.
And so, one of the spots that this kid I was working with wanted to do that he swore up and down he did all the time. It was like just a regular senton. So I'm laying down and he does a senton and it should be all clean and easy. I'm like, all right, cool. So we'll do that. Then we'll work into this and that. So when he goes to hit the senton, he balls up and lands all of his weight dead center of my diaphragm.
Oh, God.
Right here. Knocked the wind out of me.
Oh.
He definitely got a receipt after that.
Yeah, you should have. You should have.
And so did his older brother, who was his tag team partner, who really gave me a good shot in the mouth and totally just did not do what we had spoken about. You know, he was an older guy. He says, oh, I love working, old school, slower pace stuff. So moments after I gave his, brother a receipt for giving me the screwy senton, he tagged his brother in. His brother came up and socked me in the jaw. So I gave him a couple back, and then they both just kind of straightened up for the rest of the match.
Right.
But, that kind of thing happens in the business. I've been in situations where, a guy was, like there's a difference between a guy who's either doesn't know what he's doing, trying to hurt you, and, accidental,
Right.
Right.
So, like, I know some guys who are real sensitive about stiff workers. Me personally, I don't mind if you're snug. I don't mind if you're a little stiff. To me, it helps add to the impact of everything. Like,
Right.
I've got a couple of friends who, when we go in there, like, we try to see how much the other person can take, because that's us having fun with each other, doing our thing, and we'll work stiff because we're comfortable working each other because we know we're not trying to hurt each other. And I wrestled guys where I was light as a feather with them because I know that they're sensitive about that thing.
Yeah.
But there's and like, if you're in there with someone, you can tell when someone's trying to hurt you and when someone's
Right.
not.
Yeah.
And if the feedback is key.
Yeah, he said feedback is key, and being able to take criticism is helpful. A lot of people don't take criticism well, and they get their feelings hurt when you tell them the truth. Less is more.
Less is always more.
That's definitely true. Yeah, that is absolutely true. But yeah, so like, it's like you just, and like, you won't get a better read on somebody and how like you can usually tell what kind of worker someone is based on your lockup. Is from my experience personally.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the lockup is called the worker's handshake. And that's why it's called that, because you're gonna find out if you lock up really stiff, okay, I'm in for something here. If they lock up really light, okay, it's a good night. You kind of figure out right then and there what you're in for.
But yeah, so I mean, so it's like I am looking forward, moving into this next year, and seeing what new guys I'll meet, seeing what kind of matches are gonna happen, what I will and won't do, and so because like, really, like, I got to check off a bunch of like my wrestling bucket list and a lot of the stuff I did last year, and the matches that I had. I had a lot of fun last year.
Yeah, that's been me and Keith's 2022 as well.
Yeah.
I feel. He's got another comment here. I threw a chop at a guy once, and he was still wearing his chest shield thing. My hand slipped off and hit him in the throat, and I apologized about it and still got fired from that show.
That seems excessive to me. I don't know. I mean, you're a worker. You can tell me. But that just seems excessive. Like, if you're trying to make good.
I mean, unless he chopped the boss, right? Unless he chopped, like, the guy in charge.
even then though, I feel like, if you're at least trying to make good and you're like, look, it was a mistake, and the rest of the match I didn't do anything to you that would tell you I'm a liar, like,
Oh yeah, no, like again, like that goes into what I was just saying. It's like you know when it's an accident and when it's not. Usually
Yeah.
if you hit somebody stiff and then you go to move into your next spot and you tell the guy, hey, sorry about that, I fucked up. Pardon my language. But it's like,
Sorry.
and it's like, hey, dude, I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah.
like chances are it was an accident. Now, if he does it 2 or 3 more times, and maybe not so much. But
yeah, now it might be on at that point.
Keith, you're gonna love this next comment. Robert Gibson showed me a great way to lock up once, and ever since then, that's how I've been doing it.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love that.
I had a question for you, Atillio. You guys were talking about lockups. You guys were talking about chops. How do you feel about this newer generation kind of leaning more towards a strong style? It's almost as if they feel like they have to, like, kind of a little bit harder chops, a little bit harder slaps. You got to have a red chest to make it look like you're doing anything. Like, how do you feel about that?
I can take it or leave it. Like, I respect the strong style. And again, if I'm working with some of my like really close friends, we're beating the crap out of each other. Like we will lay in the shots more often than not. If it's like me and like a close friend, like I know the matches I had with Anthony Marcos years ago, we beat the hell out of each other. But he was my training partner for like 6-7 months before my first match. So we got used to working with each other, and you get close, you become friends, and then you're like, hey, let's see how far we can push it, and that will get the crowd going,
Right.
But I think that like this new generation shouldn't feel the need to be 110 miles an hour and go, like, there's still merit in having a slower paced match, saving some bumps, saving some spots. Like if you're working a guy and you're going to get 2 more matches out of it, don't do everything in one match, because then you have
Right.
Yep.
In the early days, bringing back the Hudson Valley, we had a couple of guys, good friends of mine. Their tag team just wasn't working for the crowd no more. So we're like, okay, well, let's have one of them go heel, and they split off, and we'll get a trilogy of matches. In their first match, they did everything. Everything.
Right.
And then it's like, well, there's like nothing left.
Yeah.
Like heel screwed him out of the win. So maybe we do one more match and do like a gimmick. So then they did a Puerto Rican dog collar match, because they're both Puerto Rican, and that's what you do in wrestling. Hey, we got 2 ethnic guys. Here's ethnic insert front of the match. But, so and then they did even more of everything that they could have gotten a third match out of. But so they did everything, and there was nothing left. And like that leads into when you're trying to work that's like new high octane modern style,
right?
It gets to a point where you're just doing moves, and the crowd doesn't have a chance to take anything in. You're just going, and then you end with like a 360 arrow volt splash, whatever, and it's like, okay, well, now they're exhausted. You just burnt. Or, it's like, hey, you're like opening the show and you burnt them out.
Yep.
You're doing everything.
Yep, because then it becomes, now we need a gun, now we need organ donation, now we need over the top gimmicks.
Have
like
these
nothing's
guys.
going to put anybody away.
It's like you have these guys, and a big part of it too is I want to get my shit in. I got to get my
Right. Right.
So like, and like that goes into what kind of worker are you? If you're a generous worker, you're gonna give the guy plenty to look good, and you're gonna tell a good story, and you're gonna but if you're like, and it's with a lot of these modern workers, they're very, I got to get my shit in.
Yep.
If you're on a show, man, you have 8 to 10 minutes most of the time. You have 8 to 10 minutes, and guys are going to want to work with you if you work with them to showcase both of you rather than just trying to get all your shit in 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, that goes without saying too. Like, guys, if when we talk to wrestlers and we talk about other wrestlers and they say, "Oh yeah, I've worked with that guy. He's a great guy." The reason why he's a great guy might not necessarily mean that personally he knows him personally. He's a really good person. That could mean that, but it could also mean that when I work with the guy, he's all business. We have 8 to 10 minutes to show what we can do, but we do it in a way where we don't have everything done in 3 to 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I'm saying? And then you have the other side of the coin. Keith and I have met guys that do the absolute opposite of that.
One thing that always annoys me is, since I also work in the video editing aspect of things, it means on some of our shows we need to make a certain time frame.
Right.
Like Adrenaline TV, the episode can be no longer than 29 minutes and 50 seconds.
Right. You can't cross the 30 boundary.
And we do 3 matches an episode. So if you have a guy who's scheduled for 8, and this has happened where they've gone 20.
Right.
Like, 1, you're taken away from the rest of the card.
Yep.
2, you're causing problems with production, because I still got 2 more 8 minutes to put in there.
Yep.
And it's just, and it's always with a younger guy, he's good looking, good shape, and you see he does all his stuff every match. It's more like, and again, like, working with somebody or watching somebody, who the generous workers are and who the selfish workers are.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've been blessed up to this point to have mostly been able to work with generous workers.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Got a couple more Thundercat comments here. He said, "I worked an arm drag my entire match last night. Super easy for us both."
Wow.
And then he said, "What?" And he said, "What is next if you give them everything in one match? There's nothing left to show. Got to save some things for later."
Absolutely. It's called a program for a reason.
Which is why there were some guys of who I've worked, and we were doing these big storylines and angles with last year, and for one reason or another, they were limited in some of the stuff they could do, whether it be because they're such a big person that traditional wrestling is kind of out of the question, or they were nursing an injury to some degree, where it's like we would work the angle out where it's like, try to compensate by doing a beatdown as the first match, have me get jumped or something, and I get hurt, and then our first real match is the blow-off match, and then we can get away with doing a little bit more because it's going to end there. but we established this immovable force of nature that just runs through somebody, and then you do your gimmick so it's an even playing field, and then you can get away with doing, with getting more of your shit in for both guys, technically, because like that's where you're gonna end it. And maybe there'll be like a, 6-man tag where you're gonna see him again, and you can kind of revisit some of that stuff and do some of the standard single stuff you didn't do in your gimmick, because the gimmick will help you save some of that stuff too.
Right. And maybe even then you get to that 6-man tag, you get that extra stuff in, and maybe it starts to give you ideas, and maybe it starts to get the crowd hot enough to go, oh, you know what? Yeah, we did the blow off, but now we've got something new. Now we can go explore that, and we can keep going, because the essence of a business, so many people forget. I think modern fans, and it's bled into the modern workers, they think it's try to be a sport and try to be about the athletics. And it's like, no, it's about the story. It's about, I don't like you. The fans don't like you. They like me. Let's get after it. Because I know a guy, the show that we commentate for, I know the geographic area that gentleman's in. Al's wearing his shirt here tonight. In that geographic area, he should not be the baby face that he is right now because of who he is, but because of what he's doing with his opponent, who's his former tag team partner, like you were talking about. Their first match is probably going to be the blow off, because it's been about his partner betrayed him, left him for dead, let him get beat to hell. And then every show after where they've interacted, it's been his partner who left him, beating the crap out of him, screwed him out of a title last night that he held. So he had the title, and the former partner screws him and costs him that championship. And they've only had a tag match where they've been able to touch since then. And I'm figuring not next month, but the month after, we're going to get that blow off match and whatnot.
That sounds cool. I like that. I like that a lot.
It's so good. And he set everything up last night, and like we were talking about on the pre-show about me on commentary and using that, we're friends, and the way he set everything up. And then after the show, we were talking about how he set things up, and I'm like, oh, he worked me in the best possible way.
Exactly.
Which is funny, because
such a way that I accentuated what he was doing just by me trying to channel, knowing what I need to do for him on the commentary side of it, and channeling my real feelings about it. And whether he knew it or not, he managed to draw that out of me. And
that's the way to do it. But that's actually funny too, because I remember last time, we were talking about how I'm not such a big fan of tag teams. Now I'm working toward getting into a tag team. so I'm most likely going to be partnering with a really good friend of mine. I'm not going to say nothing in too much detail now, because it's still, like a strong possibility, but I don't want to jinx nothing. But with a really good friend of mine, and brother, if you're watching, I'll see you around the block. But we had this, we're like coming up with this cool like gimmick idea, and it's like Hell's Angels meets the Guardian Angels, and kind of helping to evolve my in-ring style and gimmick a bit to again kind of help be a little easier on the embodied, do more of an upright striker style fighter type thing.
Right.
So Al, we should probably get him some brotherhood matches with Chad
with Jack. Chad and Jack Molson, sure.
It sounds a lot like what Chad and Jack were doing with the brotherhood.
Yeah. So
Might
so
want to get
I'm
you some of that for reference material, just to see, if there's anything there you can use. Not telling you how to do
so
your business, obviously, just trying to give you ideas.
so it's like I'm like really looking forward to that new thing because like I've
Mhm.
done tag matches and I think the reason why I never really at this point because now I'm really kind of excited to start this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
because all the tag matches I did were like one off. Okay, here's these guys. We're gonna put them in a team.
Together, right.
No rhyme or
Yeah,
no rhyme or reason.
almost the
So
Teddy Long SmackDown kind of tag match.
We're
Okay,
gonna have a tag team match, player.
okay, player,
So-
you don't like you and you don't like you, and we're just gonna put you guys together tonight because I can't think of a better way to prolong what's going on here.
yeah,
We got a pay-per-view to sell.
So now there is a rhyme, there is a reason, there is a story, there is an actual connection here, and it's something that we've been kind of teasing a bit on our Fully Charged show.
You're teasing it right now.
Yeah. So
I love
I'm
it.
super
That's how
excited.
tags
I
should
can't
work.
wait to get all my new leather gear in and stuff. But
Classic Johnny Potter's your best pal is here, Professor. I'm late to the party. What's up, everyone?
Well, at least he showed up, right? We got to give him credit for showing up.
Thundercat's back. He's like, I'm down to just come up and visit, just to meet you guys in person and head to his show that weekend, and then possibly get the networking, meeting the people. There you go. You don't even have to work. Yeah, you are welcome up here anytime, Greg. Just get in touch with me. We'll make that happen.
We know the
whatever weekend he comes up to like see you guys, I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go too.
Sweet.
We got a party going.
I love it.
Right now.
I love it. Let's do it. Let's all do it. All right. We're running short on time, but so tell everybody how they can follow you. Tell everybody how they can check out Adrenaline. Tell everybody how they can check out Fully Charged and all that.
All right. So you can follow me on Instagram. The page is called Recall Reviews, all lower caps. You can find some of the stuff I do on YouTube. Channel's also called Recall Reviews. Fully Charged, you type in ECPW Fully Charged on YouTube.com, and same thing with the Adrenaline program, ECPW Adrenaline TV on YouTube. And for those in Jersey watching, Adrenaline airs on the local access channels Wednesday nights at 9.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
And Facebook, there's just Atillio Aprile, and Twitter at Atillio Aprile also. And
awesome, man. But we will continue to check you out. We'll continue to monitor your progress and the way things are going. And I am excited now that, Professor, one day we could be going to a show with both Thundercat Greg Winters and Atillio Aprile.
I love it. I mean, that's the fun side effect of what we're doing here, right? Is that we're meeting people and we're able to, in our own humble way, as kind of outsiders that have been afforded an invitation in, to be able to help the folks that are in there, that are taking the bumps, that are doing the hard work, to help them maybe, just maybe, live their dreams a little bit more and be able to create some opportunities.
Which I definitely want you guys to send me like the episodes that you commentate on, because I'd love
I'd love your feedback. I really would,
because I would love to check those out, because like I know how commentary is supposed to work, like not that I'm any good at it, but I do have.
Neither are we, man. Come on,
but I do have fun doing commentary when I do commentary. I love helping to tell a story. I wish we had more time because I got some
Yeah.
stories.
Oh, we will. We'll do it again, man. You know that.
Yeah.
But
I got some last minute. I got some last minute comments to get in here. He's back. He's like, next month we are having a special tag team show. And all matches are tag team, and no one knows who their partners are going to be. It's all from a shoot draw, and the teams who win go to the final match. It's cool.
Battle Bowl.
It is Battle Bowl.
It's actually really cool.
Me too. Send them to me too. Yes, I will send the latest episode of Carnage that Keith and I did live from Norristown, PA. I will send that the latest episode that they have released, 3WA that is, of me and Keith commentary right now. As soon as we're done with this show, I'll send it to both of you individually to your Facebook.
That's only a month old, so that's pretty much.
It's a month old, right? They're catching up though. We just did the show last night.
Yeah, but
and
that's where we're at, I think, in terms of what the team is and what our skill level is and all of that.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, pretty accurate.
And I think right. So the Norristown show, I thought that was our first show we did live rather than pre-recorded at home. We that was our first show that we did live, so you can see the difference in our. So if you watch that episode and you want to watch, more, you can go back and watch the older ones and see the difference in the emotions that Keith and I were conveying, because I felt like when we were live, it was so much more natural when stuff was happening at that moment.
That's the thing. Yeah, live commentary, you'll get more of that energy. Versus the commentary in post. You got to try and not really put on a performance, but you really got, because if you're doing it in post, you've already seen what happened. The excitement's not there.
Exactly.
But if there was one thing I definitely wanted to highlight really quick before we totally run out of time, and I was hoping we'd have more time, because just a couple of the matches I had last year are definitely major highlights. My favorite match that I've ever done, period, was the last match I wrestled in December of 2022, which was me versus Big Bad Blake in a Monsters Ball match. My absolute favorite match I've ever had.
Can you send that to me and I can forward it to Keith?
Yeah, maybe we can get a special going where we all sit down, watch it together, and sort of dissect it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's episode 42, I think, of Fully Charged.
Okay.
I'll find it. I'll definitely send it.
I mean, we can look at Fully Charged on YouTube and dig it up.
Yeah.
And I organized everything in playlists by season. So season 1, 2, and 3, and now we're ongoing with season 4. So
awesome, man. Well, listen, we wish you nothing but the best. We love talking to you, man. That hour went really fast.
No, an hour.
And I apologize for that.
It's all good.
But I mean, once we got talking about, everything we were talking about, the business, and just, it seems like everybody in this room, including Greg Thundercat, wants to just try to make this business a better place. And so, and that's why we all get along, and that's what we all want. In the future.
I would. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
No.
But I would love if one of these days we could do one of these episodes with the two of you and me and Greg, and all of us kind of just have a 4-way talk. And
are you kidding? That guy loves the camera. Are you kidding me?
Great. I think that would be so much fun.
He's a proud papa now down there in Alabama, and he just would love to he would just love to watch himself, watch his face on TV here on YouTube. We love you, Greg. You know that. You know we love you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he said yes. Let's do this.
Looks like he's got a match recommendation there too.
Yeah, he did. He said Atillio Aprile versus Dirtbag Dan. Sure.
Yeah, no, well, yeah,
2018. You wrestled Dirtbag Dan.
that was.
So yeah.
I'm like, there's a story behind how that match happened too. I wish we had the time.
All right, we'll do that next time. We'll do that next time. I swear.
Where are you going?
All right.
Dan, if you're watching, I love you, bro. I wish you all
Yeah.
the best.
We love Dan too. We've tried to have Dan on a few times, and there's been conflicts where he's gotten booked last minute, but he has told me that he's gonna one of these times just free up some time to talk things over.
Well, now, if we need some incentive, we can go, hey, Dan, come on and get with Atillio and let's talk about that match.
Sure.
Now we've got it. Now we got to.
There it is. All right. Atillio, don't go anywhere.
Gotcha. Thank you guys again for having me.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely, man. For the professor and Atillio Aprile, yo, this is the Big Alboski, and we'll see you guys next Sunday, same time, same channel.
You think you know me?
Calculations are correct.